Hey everybody, welcome back to Word Balloon, the comic book conversation show. John Suntress here, really excited about today's show. It's the Black Panther panel from Terrificon last month in Connecticut at Mohegan Sun. An amazing lineup. Afua Richardson representing the Ta-Nehisi Coates' current run of Black Panther. Also, Bob Almond. He and Sal Valuto were very important during the Marvel Knights run of Black Panther. We also have the Marvel Knights Black Panther writer himself, Christopher Priest. Really excited. First time Christopher Priest has ever been on Word Balloon. And we had him on earlier with a guest Word Balloon feature with Ed Cato interviewing him, but this time I get to ask the questions. Don McGregor, the great Don McGregor, who gave us wonderful Panther stories in the 70s and the 80s and really crystallized the character of the Black Panther. We all know Stan and Jack created him, but as Priest points out on the panel, really, the roots of Black Panther start with Don McGregor. So it's a great discussion, not only about, of course, the Panther phenomenon of this year, including the movie, but their contributions to the character, their thoughts on the character, the world of Wakanda, all of it in this amazing discussion that I was very happy to moderate, get out of the way, and let these creative minds give us their 2 cents on the greatness of the Black Panther. Really excited to bring it to you today on Word Balloon. Hey, I forgot, this is, of course, another edition of Word Balloon 101. Yes, we're all firmly back to school by now. Most schools are. I know a couple schools haven't started yet. I don't think DePaul or a couple of the Chicago schools don't start until the end of September. Must be nice. So they get to enjoy their summer a little bit longer. But the rest of us, yes, as we mull around the hallways here, you're really going to be excited about today's Word Balloon because not only do we have great conversation from these amazing Black Panther creators, but we also have a new sponsor today. This episode of Word Balloon brought to you by Aftershock Comics, shaking things up at your local comic shop right now with hit series like Animosity by Marguerite Bennett and Raphael de la Tour, Baby Teeth with Donny Cates and Gary Brown, and A Walk Through Hell by Garth Ennis and Goran Sudzuka, as well as exciting new titles like Hot Lunch Special with Elliot Royale and Jorge Fornes, Beyonders by Paul Jenkins and Wesley St. Clair, and Moth and Whisper from Ted Anderson and Jen Hickman. You can check out what's rumbling at AftershockComics.com. We're going to tell you more about some of these Aftershock titles and get into details very soon in the mid-break on today's Word Balloon. Word Balloon is also brought to you by the League of Word Balloon listeners. Thank you, League, for your support via Patreon. I appreciate the subscriptions. It's the beginning of a new month. Thank you very much for your continued support. It makes it easier to get to the conventions and make the connections of these brand new guests that we are able to bring you each month here at Word Balloon. I think what I do here at Word Balloon is different than a lot of other comic book podcasters out there, and I'm sure you agree. Is it worth the price of a comic book each month? Is it worth $1 each month? If you can spare it and subscribe to Word Balloon, you're really helping out keeping things going here at Word Balloon. It's free. Word Balloon will always be free, I promise you that. But if you'd like to help out the cause and think what I'm doing here is worth your while, a subscription via Patreon would be greatly appreciated. As a thank you, you're getting advanced listens to a lot of these Terrificon panels. Right now, advanced listening on the 80th anniversary of Superman panel featuring Roger Stern, Jerry Ordway, Pete Tomasi, Paul Kupperberg. Unbelievable stuff. And also the 80th anniversary of Robin the Boy Wonder, because we're almost at that point now. That'll be in 2019. But Mike Barr, Denny O'Neil, Tim Seeley, Pete Tomasi, among the creators that are discussing Robin the Boy Wonder. A great discussion in both cases. Also some Marvel Cosmic Talk with Roy Thomas and Jim Starlin. And the birth of the Infinity Gauntlet. Unbelievable conversation with Jim Starlin, Ron Lim, and Joe Rubenstein. A real pleasure doing all these Terrificon panels. You've heard the discussions. You're going to hear another one today with Black Panther. It's all because of the Word Balloon listeners helping me out. Thank you very much, League. I really appreciate the support. Again, go to patreon.com/wordballoon or click on the Patreon ad to become part of the League of Word Balloon listeners. Let us enter the lecture hall, have our seats, and learn about the Black Panther from the people who know him best, the creators. Here's that great lineup of creators to talk about Black Panther on today's Word Balloon. Welcome, everyone, to the Black Panther panel. Everybody having fun so far at Terrificon? Day 2. My name's John Suntress. I host a podcast called Word Balloon, and it's truly a pleasure to talk to these amazing creators. I'm going to start at the far end and welcome the great artist Afua Richardson, who's been doing wonderful work on Black Panther. A tremendous writer who has been entertaining us for years, the wonderful Christopher Priest.
Oh, I couldn't talk about.
Well, and then we're expecting Bob Almond, who will be joining us as well, another fantastic artist who was working with Christopher on his Panther run. But a man who's entertained us for many decades and continues to, both on panels and in the pages. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Don McGregor.
Great. So, like the short Don McGregor, that probably would work better.
So I'm gonna start with Don and work my way down because Stan Lee and Jack Kirby created the Panther and gave us our foundation of the character. It's been an incredible year for Black Panther, and it's great to see the awareness of the character rise. But each of these creators have had a great impact on the character as well. And Don, given what Stan and Jack did in Fantastic Four, starting the Panther, Roy Thomas used the Panther in Avengers and stuff, but then you really, it seemed you and Gene Colan with your runs on the character really, evolved the character as well. What did you want to bring to the character that hadn't been done before?
Well, it was the first series that the Black Panther was the solo star of, and it was. So that was going to be a set of stories that were set in Wakanda. Wakanda had been used by Stan and Jack. Obviously, they invented it, created it all. But there was very little delving in what Wakanda was outside of this hidden, technologically advanced country. They didn't have enough room. They had 4 Fantastic Four characters to deal with, and then at least one villain that had to be fought. And then you could throw the Black Panther into the mix, and you didn't really have a lot of room to really analyze what Wakanda was. So, yeah, I read all the books before I started writing it. I don't think I wrote a page for 3 months. I was putting the maps together so that because I knew I was going to do a continued story. I didn't ask permission because I would have been told no, I couldn't do it. But the only thing that made any sense to me is if he came back and we were going to have 13 pages for every 2 months. That's a lot to ask a reader to come back 2 months later and care about these characters or this place. So my thought was, well, it's going to be connected because if he comes back in every issue, I have to create a new villain. After about the 4th issue, the Wakandans would say, "Child, go back to America." 'Cause seriously, we were doing fine. And then you came along, and every 2 months, somebody tries to kill us, steal vibranium, whatever it was. So I thought, it's got to be connected. And that started leading to the creation of Killmonger. And the only way I did get away with doing it as a novel, I was working at staff at the time, and if you're there, you can kind of safeguard your book a lot, because if people try to screw with it, you're right there and say, "Wait a minute, you're going to take the nipples out that Billy Graham put in there?" "I don't think so." And make sure the book gets in so they have about 4 hours to look at your book before it's got to make the printers. Because Jack Reporton, who managed all that, he would make sure he didn't care. Just get the book out. We need it out there. So, being able to do that, I had taken the Panthers Rage logo, and in those days, did stats where you could copy and shrink the stuff down to any size you wanted. And I went to Stu Schwartzberg, who ran that room, and I said, "Stu, I need you to shoot this down for me, various sizes." And just as the book was going out to the printers, I put Panthers Rage Continues. And I think they caught on to it about the 4th issue. And then it was too late.
He just joined us on the panel, everyone. He worked well with Christopher on Christopher's Panther run. The great artist Bob Almond, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry about that. My volunteers couldn't find their own.
Hey, conventions, everyone always runs to the panels and stuff. Christopher and Bob, I want to hear both of you talk about this because the Panther in the Marvel Knights era was a very important character. And it started... Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti had the Marvel Knights imprint, and I know that for both of you, I know Quesada was a huge champion of the book, and as I recall, as great as it wasn't a big seller, and truly, like, Quesada was one of those guys going, "Hey, if you're not paying attention, these guys are kicking ass on Black Panther right now. You really should read it. And I'll be honest, I was one of those people like, oh, that's cool. Because I was back to comics, and it was great to see this kind of portrayal. So, yeah, Christopher, you started, and Bob as well. Sal Valuto, Bob, was the other artist?
Partner, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we first teamed up in '97 at Acclaim Comics for Bloodshot, and that was only 2 years before the Panther thing. We had an offer for Justice League, but it was kind of still nebulous in the works.
Okay.
So when this offer came up, even my editor at DC was like, take what you got guaranteed, just go with it, and thank God we did that. I was trying to talk Sal into it, because he's into the classics DC work, so he was just tempted. It was like his dream thing, but it's like, yeah, you just never know. You don't want to pass up something and the other project falls apart.
Absolutely.
He had more the inner workings of the stuff with Quesada and Poliato.
Well, and Christopher, honestly, tell us about, who did you approach them and said, I want to do Black Panther, or did they come to you and say, we think you'd be perfect for Black Panther?
Well, first, Senator, I'd like to say that I left my jacket at a Chinese restaurant last night, so I'm a little distracted. I'm like, what was in the pockets of the jacket? And then also, Don's shirt is really sparkly.
Very Neil Diamond.
Yeah, very. No, I was thinking more Michael Jackson.
There you go.
That kind of thing. 1998, I got a call from Joe Quesada. He had just started this Marvel Knights imprint, and I got very excited because I went, this is it, this is the call, this is it. I'm going to finally get my chance to write Daredevil. Man, I've waited my whole career. I was so excited. He said Black Panther. I said, who? And initially I turned him down. Black Panther has traditionally been a character that Marvel has not really invested a lot of energy in. Don can tell you, lengthy stories of mainly how he built Wakanda and built that world, largely because he was ignored, because the editorial team didn't really care about the character, and so they weren't really paying much attention until it was kind of a done deal. I didn't want to be in that boat. I didn't want to get stuck there. And then Mark Waid called me up and tried to talk me into it, and Brian Gustin talked me out, and I was like, so finally, how many of you seen this film Casino with Robert De Niro? Have you seen it? Okay. So there's a scene in Casino where the mob guys come to Robert De Niro, and he's lounging by the pool, and they're trying to talk Robert De Niro into running the casino, taking over the operations of the casino, and he doesn't want to do it. And they twist his arm and trying to talk him into it. And finally, Bob said, all right, well, listen, if I do it, I got to do it my way. And he goes, oh, sure, do it your way. No, I mean it. Absolutely no interference, nothing from downtown, nothing. And that's the deal I made with Joe. It's like, okay, I can do it, but I'm gonna do my version of Black Panther with all due respect to this great guy here. I'm gonna do my thing, and he's going to be dangerous and dark and scary, and he's going to be a lot colder than what we're used to. He's going to be more technologically. We're going back to Stan. I went all the way back to Stan Lee, who had this incredibly brilliant thinker who was always 3 or 4 steps ahead of his enemies, who had all this advanced technology. He was a rich guy. He was a rich, handsome dude, and he beat the Fantastic Four all by himself.
That's right.
That's the guy I'm going to write, and if I can't write that guy, please keep looking, or, offer me Daredevil.
Right.
Okay. Let me just skip ahead real briefly. So where Sal and Bob came in, we did 12 issues of Panther for Marvel Knights, and I figured, well, that's it. Christopher Priest, they cancel my books on spec. They go, it's Priest. Cancel. Keep your eye on Deathstroke, fellas. So I wrote issue 12, and then I went up and I started doing Steel with Dennis Cowan or Quantum Woody or something like that. Something like that. Yeah, thank you for that smattering of applause.
There you go. Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you. And about 3 months later, I got this call from Ruben Diaz, the editor, And he says, Jim, they used to call me Jim as long as he says, Jim, where's the script for 13? I said, issue 13 of what? What are you talking about? And he says, well, Black Panther 13. I said, there's a Black Panther 13? He goes, yeah, well, nobody told me. I just assumed we were done. and not only were we not done, but I was like 3 months late.
I love that.
Now, did Sal and I, did we do Justice League Task Force before Panther? Mm-hmm. That was before Panther. So he said, well, how about Sal Belluto? And Sal and I had done a run on Justice League Task Force, another book that was completely and utterly ignored by the company.
Yep.
I mean, the Justice League Task Force, real briefly, they were supposed to be the Navy SEALs of the Justice League, a special missions force, where the JLA would send this group of younger people out to do these special, they wore matching uniforms and they were hitting blah, blah. The only thing is the Justice League never sent them anywhere. And I would go across the hall and I talk to the Justice League and I said, you got to send my guys. We're just sitting around reading the paper. You got to send my guys somewhere. And the writer just refused to play ball. So I told Drew, and I said, until the Justice League people actually send the task force anywhere, I'm not ever sending them on any missions. And you go back and read that book, it was a book about nothing. It was the Seinfeld of Justice League. Where absolutely, I hand to God, nothing happened. So I went, okay, so Sal and I are used to doing a book that's being completely ignored. So this was the Black Panther, that'll fit in perfectly. So we just went on transition. So they moved it from Marvel Knights to the Marvel Universe, and that's when our team came on board, and we just took off from there. And John, you're right. I couldn't give Black Panther away. If I had a stack of them in the back of a Chevy, on Fifth Avenue, handing them out with $100 bills taped inside, no one would take it. It was a struggle. The whole run was a struggle.
But it was really cool that Quesada really was out there, saying, "Hey, this is a great book. Pay attention, people." And I don't know if it helped tick up the numbers or not, because you ended up doing 60 issues. Am I right?
Yeah, but they hung on to it because we had we were the critical darling.
Absolutely.
And that's what I do. I explained that to Dan DiDio the other day. I said, what I bring you is mainstream media attention for our Deathstroke run and stuff we did on the Chicago gun violence story, things like that. And I bring you critical reviews. What I can't seem to learn how to do is bring a publisher actual sales. So one day I'll figure that part out, and I'll actually be working in this business. But until then, it's 40 years of trying to break in.
Well, we're paying attention. Afua, you're the youngest creator to come to the Black Panther phenomenon, and part of the wave that came in with Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yes.
And tell me about how you got involved and what drew you to the project.
Well, it's interesting. I got asked to do a cover for the Ta-Nehisi Coates Brian Stelter's run. And it's funny, you were talking about not wanting to work on a book where people didn't really pay attention to it. Brian Stelter's wanted to work on it because he thought no one would give him any editorial oversight. He said, "This is going to be a small project, just kind of under the radar." He was kind of wrong about that. But it was just supposed to be a variant cover for that series. And then when I submitted it, they looked at it. I hadn't heard anything for 3 months. And I was like, I guess we're not going to use it. Just something else. It happens. Then I get an email from Ta-Nehisi. He says, "I'm really sorry. I grabbed your email from the CC chain. I just got to tell you, I love this. I really, really love this. I love all the pieces. I love all the elements. I decided to. My name Afua is a Ghanaian name from West Africa. It means a girl born on Friday. So Oki would be a boy born on Friday, Abed is Tuesday, etc., etc. And I have my age from Ghana, though I don't necessarily know all of their names. But I wanted to take a piece of me and put it in the covers. So in each of the 5 covers that I did, I took a different symbol of the Akan, the Adekwa symbols, which are like a philosophy embedded in a little tiny glyph, like the one on my wrist here. And each one was pertinent to the story. So in cover 1, behind T'Challa is he who wants to be king must first learn to serve. which I thought was perfect for what was going on in Wakanda. And behind the two Dora Milaje who are in love, which kind of goes against their duty, it's freedom and independence comes with a price. And all these different symbols mean something different to someone. So the one that I have on my wrist, that's kind of like, hey, it's gonna be okay, is Ichimchim, which means whatever comes, you deal with it. You have to be maneuverable, you have to be flexible, you have to be able to take whatever deadline they want to change and be able to hit it. So I decided to take that piece of me and my culture, my heritage, and my name and place it in each of the covers according to what was happening in the story. And so when I spoke to Ta-Nehisi about it, he wasn't necessarily a big Black Panther fan when he was younger. It was something that he didn't connect with, but when he decided to get on board with this, he read everything there was to read. He was like, I am doing my homework. And he fell in love. He was like, I've fallen in love with these characters in an unhealthy way. He had 3 years of a script before the first issue even dropped. So just talking with him about like taking the different elements. So it's great. It's great to see like someone else, hold on to the infinity gauntlet of Black Panther and say, all right, this is the reality that I'm going to make here. And I want to add this element, and John Vita added it, or Laje, and each person saying like, hey, I want to take this person and make them, who I see the Black Panther is. So I am super excited to be involved with that and carry on you guys' lineage. I'm super proud.
Absolutely. Just a couple of weeks ago, I live in Chicago, we had a Panther convention, and it purely was just about the Black Panther. And I'm used to that with Doctor Who and Star Trek, but that's how big this phenomenon has become.
But they did invite us.
I was going to, honestly, guys, I
never heard from them at all.
Yeah, and honestly, I was disappointed. And there is this growing schism, it seems, between the television and film products and the comics, which, as we all know, is the foundation where all this great stuff comes from. So, yeah, I'll go down the line, guys. Is it and Afua, all of you, if you don't mind, I'll call you collectively, guys. But honestly, yeah, is that kind of bittersweet? I know that you're all getting your due for your contributions to the character.
Are we? Really?
Well, there we go. We'll go down the road.
Let me straighten you out on this.
Talk to me, Dan.
And every once in a while, I put this up on my Facebook page just so people think Don didn't see any of that 1 billion point, however many $million the movie is made. I got paid $162 for the book that creates Killmonger and has the first maps of Wakanda.
Wow.
$162 to this day.
Don, honestly, that's very shocking because...
Did you want to work in this business? Did you want to be at Marvel Comics? Here's what your choice was in 1973. Either you signed those contracts or you didn't get to work in the business.
Yeah,
not at DC or Marvel, and Warren didn't pay any better. So you've been being there because you loved it and you wanted to be there. And by the way, I love the Black Panther.
Well, sure, but it is surprising
because he cost me a lot in my life.
It seems like in the last couple of years, like Len Wein didn't get what he deserved for Wolverine, but got a check. And honestly, I always feel embarrassed and crass when I ask creators about that, because it seems like since the Kirby estate and the Siegel and Schuster estates have, kind of asked for their rightful claim to get paid for these incredible creations that make billions of dollars for these companies.
Now, let me just
so
add one more thing to that.
Yeah.
There's something that you were talking about. Much of Panther's Rage, when the book started, they said, okay, the only instructions I was given was it was going to be set in Wakanda. That was it. Okay. They thought the book was going to die, and that's why they gave it to me.
Yep.
So they didn't mind me being on editorial. I don't think I was especially good at it, but I worked hard at it. And I had no political agenda. I didn't want to be editor-in-chief. I didn't want to rewrite anybody. I only wanted to do my own stories, leave me alone, and let me do that.
Sure.
So they gave me, Jungle Action was going to go to new material, and the Black Panther being in it, but nobody had looked ahead and thought, what does that really mean? Well, by the third issue, when they only had black characters and there's one white character, Venom, in the series, it started to become a real big problem. This is 1973, 74. This isn't 2018, despite all of the schisms that we have going on right in this time period that unfortunately and sadly we're all going to have to face those consequences. But in pop culture, there wasn't, in pop culture, at least they now face that they're not, there's no racism going on or sexism going on. But in 1973, if you were a woman and you wanted to write comics, you could only write a show that had a woman lead character. If you were a black artist, you were assigned to Luke Cage or the Black Panther, and that was just the mentality. You don't have to take my word for it. Look at the books. But one of the things I want to say is that because I started fighting with them every issue as Panther's Rage went on, because they wanted to bring more white people into it. That was the business. We want white people, and my thought was the why would
white people too, actually.
Yeah, well, no, I did bring them. I finally did.
Thank you.
I brought the Ku Klux Klan, and then and they were happy about that. And literally, I swear to God, I'm not making this up. They go, Don, you can't do this. You can't do this. And I so for 2.5 years, you people bug me to put white people. I finally give you something, and there's just no satisfying you folks.
Some people just want something to complain about.
So, but part of what the movie's been, the response to the movie, and I'm really thrilled by that so many people have taken it to heart, and it means a lot to them. And it's brought the awareness of the books, because they probably would have been forgotten, except by you loyal fans out there who experienced the books years ago and still have a love for them, and thank you for that. But those books did not have the accolades, not in the industry, on a minor scale to the readers that really responded to it.
Sure.
And the more I went to conventions and people came up to me and talked to me what those books meant to them, the more I felt like I have to ignore these people. I can't. I have to keep my eye on what I thought I was going to do, 2 years before going to the end line to do it. And so to see the movie getting that kind of response now is great.
Well, what I tell people is that between 75 and 80% of what you saw on the screen was created by Don McGregor. Stan Lee and Jack, they created Black Panther, but Stan wrote somewhere between, I guess, 3 and 5 Black Panther stories in his lifetime, and Jack did his own sort of miniseries, which just completely ignored, what Don was doing, but what you saw on the screen.
But by the way, just to say, Jack Kirby doesn't have to ask Don McGregor anything. It's Jack Kirby. He can do anything he wants. Sorry.
So when I saw the title cards in the movie, I take nothing away from Stan Lee, who has been a friend of mine for 40 years now. I've known Stan taught me visual storytelling way back in the summer. But when I saw the title card, when I saw the title card that said Black Panther, based on characters created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, I really wish it said based on characters created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Sure. Because so much of it really was done. I didn't mind being down in the special thanks ghetto along with everybody else. The little fine type
chauffeurs.
Yeah. Were you in the ghetto, by the way?
Believe it or not, and that was a struggle to get in there. I can get to that one.
You had to fight to get in the ghetto? No kidding.
Yeah. Is it mine?
Yeah, go for it.
A few loose ends. First off, this man deserves every credit that he should get, because you've probably seen a meme that's been circulating on social media that talks about when Jack Kirby was on Black Panther, the editorial asked for more white characters, and he brought in the KKK. That's misinterpreted. That should have been to Don. Don knows. I think he wrote something about that, mentioned it.
Yeah, I'm a shrinking file, probably not. Okay, maybe.
I follow.
Did I curse a lot?
As for creators, getting to do, the sad thing about this industry is it's not done the right thing for most of the decades, and usually it's the creator himself who contacts maybe an advocate to shame Marvel, if you want to call it. No, they won't come out and say that, but once Marvel's in a bad PR position, then suddenly they act.
Yeah.
3-year script for a book. Can you imagine if you were offered that? We were on death watch notice every few months.
Right.
Yeah.
We can list like the issues we were told are tentatively our final issues.
Right. Wrap it up by this number, yeah.
You know, not just issue 12. So yeah, that blows me away. It became a 3-year run with the three of us. As for the struggle thing, I've been watching all the Marvel Studios films, and the way the credits generally go is like it was explained. You get your co-creators, and then way down near the end, you get the people that helped influence elements of the film. But there's no precedent of having any ink artists in there, because normally ink artists don't get really involved in the content. Now, I knew that I would be an exception, because I had the fortune of having this incredibly generous writer offer his art team, what would motivate you guys, I mean, he was writing it. He had all these, ideas and goals, but he did everything to inspire us. And, I mean, he actually ran with a majority of our requests, which is just unbelievable. I had nothing to do with writing, plotting, anything like that, so I'm not here to get undue credit, extra credit. That was all him, his genius. But I pestered the hell out of him. He thought, when he first met me at the film premiere, he thought I was a much younger guy. And I think that's probably because I have this contagious enthusiasm, because I've been a Marvel fan forever. And while Avengers has been my book, I mean, I have followed Panther because he's been very much involved with him for decades. So what I did was I contacted an advocate, like I was referring to, 2 of them actually, and they had to talk to the gentleman at Marvel, David Bogart, and they had to look into what LA was doing to see if there was anything there that would match up with the work we did. So I was trying to show that I had some influence thanks to him. I mean, if I believe right, I had to fight tooth and nail to get my buck with a man-ape for you to be like, okay, I'll use them. As you...
I wiped that out of my memory because
Bob, you did never talk me into doing a character called Man-Ape. You'd never have done it.
The executive producer, now his name is escaping.
Feige?
No. Yeah, it'll come back to me. He called me up when Panther was in pre-production, when it was just being in development, and he said, "Well, we're thinking about using Man-Ape." And I said, "Who?" He said, "Man-Ape." I said, "Who?" He said, "Man-Ape." Did you say Man-Ape? I said, "Yeah, man. There's a character called Man-Ape." He goes, "Yeah, you wrote it for like 3. I wrote a character called Man-Ape."
Right.
And I went downstairs. Bob, I completely spaced. I went downstairs. I dug through my boxes, and sure enough, there's M'Baku, the Man-Ape. And I was, holy cow!
I remember the progress.
That's your fault.
Yes.
I know Baku, and so therefore you didn't have to worry about Man-Ape. You probably never even used the phrase.
No, I'm pretty sure we called him Man-Ape at some point because he shows up on a splash page.
The only reason he's kind of connected to your run is because they started the reprint from Avengers with John B. Simmer.
If you thought I paid any attention to that outside of creating actual white gorillas that would be the religion, that's the only thing, because I would never, ever, I swear to God.
And he was the cranky uncle to the little girl, the spunky girl from Brooklyn that eventually became Panther's Robin to Panther's Batman, the Queen Divine Justice, who will be showing up in the next film.
Yay!
Did any of you guys notice that the designs that, I spoke to some of the CG team who worked on the rendering for his suits, the different suits that he had. They said they definitely had the work that you guys did on their table while they were designing. They had the work that I did and Brian Selfridge as well. But during the scenes in the movie where he's conversing in the spirit world with his father, all of those, just the panel where he's just kind of down on the ground, it's like, that's Brian Selfridge.
Yeah.
The color palette, that's Laura Martin.
Yeah.
Wow.
You start seeing where you kind of paint and even the symbolism that they used. They told me that hey, your use of the Enigma symbols, we decided to kind of make our own alphabet.
That's fantastic.
So it's definitely, you see it all the time. Like, hey, that was Carly Hamner's design. Like, hey, that was this person's design. Of course, we don't know. So it's like, hey, Thanks for the idea.
So you weren't in special thanks? Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, by the way,
You weren't in again.
applause. Like, who of us stick around for the credits for the special thanks? Damn right. Absolutely. Hell yeah, we're not leaving until we see the special thanks. And it's like, you name check. Oh yeah, that's great.
I involuntarily stood up and screamed.
Attaboy.
Did you really?
I did. I thought you all were going to look at me, and no one noticed.
No, I had tears in my eyes. Not over the credits, but just over the film. I was so
I want to say one of the things being at the premiere, one of the things that it stood out for me and moved me emotionally was meeting Christopher Priest. And you can find a classier guy with the kind of talent that he has. In this business, many writers never acknowledge another writer. And I know right after that, Christopher wrote a piece on the books that I had done, and probably gave me more praise than I actually really deserved, but I thank him for it, and I thank him for his friendship. Coming out of that movie, one of the things I really love, I get to know Christopher Priest.
Understood?
Thank you.
Yeah.
War, come on, come on!
Absolutely.
Okay, let's take a break from the discussion and tell you a bit more about our sponsor. Today's Word Balloon brought to you by Aftershock Comics. Now, I'm sure you've seen Aftershock titles on the racks of your favorite comic shops. A whole slew of newer titles written and drawn by your favorite creators. How about the gritty psycho thriller American Monster from Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Risso? The real-world comedy Super Zero from Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor, or the spy series Jimmy's Bastards from Garth Ennis and Russ Braun. Believe me, I love all of these. They were great stories, and as you know, these are creators that came to Aftershock to tell their kind of stories with no rules, just a new platform to tell great, fresh stories. You can check out these new titles, too, like the Midwestern Noir Hot Lunch Special by Elliot Royale and Jorge Fornes, or a great story about current conspiracy theories with ties from centuries past in Beyonders by our buddy Paul Jenkins and Wesley St. Clair, and cyberpunk crime action with Moth and Whisper from Ted Anderson and Jen Hickman. Now, in the episodes coming up in the weeks ahead, we will be talking to some Aftershock creators about their books. They are some of your old favorites, and they're also some brand new creators as well. But you don't have to wait to learn about Aftershock Comics. You can check out full story descriptions, preview pages, and how to get these books either digitally or the diamond codes to order them through your local shop at AftershockComics.com. All right, let's get back now to our class in session and talk more about Black Panther on today's Word Balloon.
I'm sure you all have questions, but right before we get to those, Christopher, I read your book, your prose book, kind of covering Quantum and wrote Woody and various phases of your career. Please let people know the title of your book, and it is available. It's on my Kindle.
Yeah, on Kindle. Yeah, it's called Clang. It's a commentary about the Mark Wright, my artist Mark Wright and I. We returned to the Quantum Woody character a few years ago, and we did a miniseries under the premise of what if the book had never gone away, or what if we had never left the book? So it's like then 20 years later, and they're fat and goofy, and they have to solve certain problems, whatever. And there were enormous difficulties and challenges in putting the book together. Mark and I, we are Quantum Woody, so we kind of bicker, So there's a little commentary, and it includes the original script, because the script had gotten changed around a lot, so it includes the original script to the book, and a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, and why I'm not, well, actually, I am working for Valiant again, but I wasn't working for Valiant for quite a while, but that's the old Valiant. Now there's a new. They've been bought again, so they're a new company now.
Yep. No, it's honestly, it's tremendous. Clang. Check it out. So honestly, I want to open things up for questions, because I'm sure we've got a lot of them. Sir.
So this is for you, Mr. Priest. I promise it's not about Quantum Woody.
Okay.
But before I get to my question, I want to say that both you and Jim Owsley are two of my favorite writers.
Oh,
yeah, I agree.
Appreciate that. I'll tell them.
I was one of the people who bought your run from issue 1, mainly because of that gorgeous painted cover of the now iconic, image of the Panther. But what I loved about it is not only did you do what you said and sort of make T'Challa the answer to Marvel's answer to Batman with the technology and the ruthlessness and everything, but the humor was incredible, right? I post a photo of the devil's pants on Facebook and whatever I can. So can you tell me a little bit about the creation of Everett K. Ross and your goal to not only bring danger and social commentary, but also humor into the Black Panther that you worked on?
Well, real quick, Ross was created in Kazar. I was writing a book called Kazar for Marvel, and he existed there. But I thought when we went to the Panther thing that what I needed most was a point of view character. I needed something to overcome not only the audience's reluctance to embrace this character, but editorial's reluctance to embrace the character and to make the book more commercial. So the Marvel Knights Black Panther really wasn't about the Black Panther, it was about the Everett Ross character played by Martin Freeman in film, except my Ross was funny. The filmmakers made a deliberate choice because I think Martin did not want to play another funny sidekick, but that's precisely why they cast him, because he plays a wonderful funny sidekick, but then they didn't let him be funny in the film. But in our book, he was hilarious, and it was about his cultural awakening. It's like, putting who played Chandler or Friends?
Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry. Like Matthew Perry meets, goes out on a date with her, and he's completely unexposed to anything you're talking about, and what's the tattoo, and what's going on. So that's who Ross was. Putting humor in the book, that was one of my conditions for doing it. Besides the Robert De Niro My Way thing, I was like, oh, and by the way, it's going to be funny. And that scared the hell out of everybody, because they'd never seen because Don, bless his soul, he wrote such an intense, there's nothing.
I was told I couldn't do humorous black characters. Why do you think Jackie and Stevie ended up being the Abbott and Costello of Panther's Rage?
Okay.
Because the book needed humor, but they didn't want it.
Interesting.
They actually told me, you can't do a humorous black character. And they didn't, after Killmonger was on the first cover, we couldn't put him on the cover. You don't see him again until in the second year's worth of books, because they were not used to having a black character that ferocious, that angry, that powerful. When Rich Buckler and I were creating that character, I kept telling Rich, every time you look at me, you think, how can Chala beat this guy? You look at me and you think, he doesn't have a chance.
Yeah.
And that would give... I always feel for superhero kind of stuff, you need to have a villain that it really just takes it up. And how are we going to resolve this? And Killmonger, by the time Rich and I were finished, I said, this is it, Rich. And after that, we said, no, you can't put him on the cover again. And then, I think it's issue 7 or something like that. Finally, they put him in, and he wasn't supposed to be on the cover with the wolves attack Chala and all the wolves. Well, Rich had just drawn the wolves attacking him, and apparently, I guess editorial thought, oh no, we're going to have a villain on there. Sure. And so they put this little figure of Killmonger. He's like a little action figure. And if you look at the drawing, you can see he's just tucked into a corner beyond where all the wolves are fighting Chala. And it goes with the arrow that says, he's back, Killmonger. So, something like 7 or 8 books into the series.
Wow. Crazy. More questions. All the way in the back, sir.
Thank you. Huge fan of both of you guys, writing from early Black Panther all the way through Night. I'm curious to know, for each of you, what is your favorite story arc and element that you got to add to the character from beginning to now?
Oh, gosh.
Sure, go ahead.
Put me on the spot. Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, I'll have to get back to you.
It's the essay question.
Yeah, it sure is. I don't know. I think one of my favorite Black Panther moments did not have Black Panther and wasn't in the comic book. It was in a Hulk annual where I had Queen Divine Justice teaching the Hulk how to make grits. That was so much fun. Oh my God. And John Bachman drew the hell out of that. It was so funny. But Panther, I got to tell you that very first issue, which was laid out by Joe Quesada, and Mark Teixeira painted it.
That's right.
Black Panther, he stalks this guy, he makes him crash his Mustang into the East River, and they're upside down inside the car, and Panther's holding him like this, and he's like, you'll tell me what I need to know or I'll carve your heart like a roast. And I was like, to me, that was like, oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's Black Panther,
Yeah, all of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was going to say, after Dantas, please, both of you as well.
I'm like Christopher, I'm not sure, no. There's certain scenes I think were powerful, and I was working so hard on them, and they stay with me. I'll tell you a story that I like to do. I can tell you a story on the Black Panther. One of the most, it's the most surreal conversation I ever had in the hallowed halls of Marvel Comics. So I'm doing Panther's Prey with Dwayne Turner. And by the way, Gene Colan couldn't draw Panther's Prey after he did Panther's Quest. And so I'm looking around for an artist, and Terry Cavanagh, the editor, was showing me people, and I saw Dwayne's, 8 pages of artwork for Dwayne. And it wasn't anything like what I was going to be trying to do, and I was after hours, I was Xeroxing something at Marvel, and Christopher Priest came up to me and said, Don, have you used Dwayne Turner? And I said, well, I don't know Dwayne, I don't know his work. And he said, well, the Black Panther is his favorite character. And I thought, I'd rather have somebody that loves the character, and it's not just another gig, because this isn't just another gig to me. And now I'm coming back to bring all those characters for Panther's Rage into the thing. And I thought, okay, I'm going to bring Monica back. And I really intended, it had to go through so many meetings to say that we could marry the Black Panther. And Mark Brunwald kept telling me, Don, we don't worry about you writing it, but if somebody else comes on to write it, we don't know what they'll do with Monica or how they would handle that. And it took like 3-4 months to get an okay to do it. In the book that really introduces her, I really want to do a background story. My favorite scene in that series probably is the sequence where you find out what Monica was doing since Panther's Rage. And at the end of it, it's Charlotte coming to see Monica and to convince her that it's basically 12 pages of a man and woman discussing why they shouldn't have sex. So
that's every weekend for me.
And no matter how much they try to deny the attraction between them, it's going to happen. Even when they're arguing it, they know they're going to happen. So the book comes out, and I go into Terry's office. Terry Cavanagh calls me, hey, the book's out now. So I come in, and I said, look, I've got to go to the bathroom before I look at the book. I'll come right back. So I walk into the bathroom, and I'm washing my hands, and out of the toilet stall, Tom DeVacco's voice suddenly goes out, McGregor, and I love it when I use my name that way. You could cost Terry Cavanagh his job. And I know what kind of line to use on me that's going to make, Jesus, I wouldn't do anything to her, Terry. What could I possibly have done to Terry? And so he shoves it. I said, what did you say? And he shoves this out again, and it comes out. How he knew I was there, by the way? He's in a closed stall. How did he know I was even there? I just went to the urinal, came over, washed my hands. I never said a word. Somehow he knew it was me. So we go out into the halls, and Tom DeVacco tells me, Monica Lynn has no panties on in that book. And now see, there's a lot of things that I might forget. But I think I would remember if there was a sequence. Now, I did tell Dwayne, he's going to be in costume. Originally, that was going to be 3 separate scenes throughout the series, and it didn't work out that way. And I said, well, he's got to be in the outfit. It's like over a quarter of the book. And, people go, like, why isn't he dressed as Charlotte? But Monica, he can never steal the scene from Monica. And I defy you, if you look at that sequence, if Charlotte ever steals that scene from her. I don't think so. So now he's continually arguing with me about this, and I'm trying to see all the panels in my head. I said, well, the book is in. Let's go up. And you're going to cost us 10,000 copies in sales. And by the way, it's always 10,000 copies. Doesn't matter what the publisher is. I don't care if you're going with an independent big company. If there's somebody who wants it's 10,000 copies. Okay. Nowadays, they would wish they could sell 10,000 copies. So we go into Terry's office and look through the book, and he can't find anything. And does he say, "Oh, sorry, Don, I'm sorry, I'm wrong"? He just looks, okay, close it down, stop. That's it.
Wow.
That's the story.
Wow.
So that's my bizarrest, most surreal conversation at Marvel Comics.
Do the artists have any like great Panther moments that you're particularly proud of? You and Afua, yeah. You got to think about it, Afua, no problem. Bob?
First off, as I was showing you yesterday, Billy Graham passed away with very little fanfare. And
Absolutely.
and
Tell us about Billy Graham.
he's got the stories. I never met the man. I just know.
Are you saying the preacher or comics Billy Graham? Or the fighter Billy Graham? You know,
The Billy
I know a lot
Graham
of...
drew Panther's Rage and Luke
See,
Cage.
there you go.
After we were hired, I heard about it, and it turned out that Priest was writing the infamous Blaxploitation issue coming up, which kind of surprised me because there was some uniform or costume updates, and he was imagining all the retro 70s look, and it's like, where's Brother Voodoo?
Chris Paul says good. When he says blaxploitation, we're talking about. I had completely run out of ideas, but our editor Ruben Diaz was always he's like a monkey. He'd always, I've got a ton of ideas, and Ruben said, wouldn't it be great to bring back all these like really bad 1970s black characters? And the even worse black villains from 1970s. So we did an issue where we just threw them all in there, and that's what Bob's talking about. So.
And I just thought about it. It's like, this is perfect because Luke Cage was in there, and obviously Billy worked on Panther, Cage most more predominantly than I think anything else.
Right.
So it just seemed like the perfect time. So I asked you and I believe Ruben at the time, and they were all for it. So that was a big deal. I had been trying to push for Tom Brevoort's format for the 100-page special. 100-page monsters.
80-page monster, yeah.
And I discovered the 35th anniversary of Black Panther was coming up. So they had been kind of putting off the idea because they didn't think maybe they'll... Can't remember, we were on a precarious thing, survival thing. And they weren't really into it. When I mentioned the anniversary, all of a sudden you mentioned we got approval, we can do it,
Yeah.
We got to pick the stories, and that worked out really well. That was for the proposed annual that never happened.
Right.
Interesting, because I know Ruben swears by it, and Tom Brevoort said that never existed. Well, some weird things. Anyway, so that was cool that we got to do that.
We did a future story in that issue.
Yeah, the Once and Future King.
Right. Don't forget King Solomon's Frog.
King Solomon's Frog is
so fun.
He actually, as a tribute to me, had me in mind when he was doing this Happy Pants Panther, because I was this fanboy and talking about all this stuff, which is probably why he thought I was younger than I was, because I was full of enthusiasm, and it was a way of showing, this retro. All these elements came in from the Kirby stuff, and it's amazing that he was able to make it all work.
I do actually have a really quick Panther story I just thought of, but I know we only have about 5 minutes.
Oh, no, we're doing all right.
5 minutes?
No, we got a little more than that. But we're about 6 minutes, you're right.
I'll be faster.
No problem.
The first cover that I did for Black Panther World of Wakanda kind of features T'Challa on profile, kind of in a Muay Thai stance, right? My husband Cameron is a martial artist, and his teacher is Richard Trammell, this really phenomenal martial artist, black gentleman, has the Black Panther tattooed on both arms. His nickname is T'Challa, right? He's mentored so many young people and really was an influence on my husband's life. And so I thought I would honor his sensei by making T'Challa. So I have him as the model for the first Black Panther, because I'm really about showing real superheroes and bringing them into the forefront of
Excellent.
our...
That's awesome.
Excellent.
That's fantastic. Christopher, they've been recollecting your guys' run, obviously because of the success of the film. Is that annual part of the reprints? Did it make it in?
I'm sorry, can you say again?
The Blaxploitation annual that you guys did, is it part of the trades that they've been putting out of your guys'
It's in
run?
there somewhere. It's got to be.
What they did was they reformatted it into the 35th anniversary, so issues 36 and 37 would have been, I guess, the annual.
Okay. Cool. That's great. And yeah, I mean, honestly, if you haven't read Christopher's run, it's incredible. I'm sure most of you have. Excellent. Certainly Don's work as well. So we've got time for about one more question. Sir?
Hi. I have a question for you. Now that you know that Don McGregor made $162 for Panther Range, how does that affect you now that, as an artist, that your property is going to be could be worth billions in 20 years? How does that affect you as you form contracts and what you want to do?
Well, one, it makes my $224 royalty check.
Still the same, are they?
But also,
Doesn't surprise me.
it also makes me feel like, well, as I work on these projects and I work with these characters that I love personally, it also inspires me to create my own. That at one point in this universe, there was no Black Panther. And each one of you have taken a piece of yourselves and your ideas and you put into it, and it's turned into this giant thing. So I can take something, and even though it might not compare to the icons that we all know and love now, that doesn't mean that someone else won't pick it up and add something to it and turn it into something later. So it really encourages me to say, hey, you know what? I need to believe in my ideas, because just as anything grows and evolves and as it changes through time, it will become something that inspires people and touches someone and moves them if I'm just honest and true and believe in my vision and not take, of course I can take criticism, but like, if you're strong and true to your vision, say, no, I want to say this, so I want to do it this way.
Yeah, you have to maintain
to
that.
say, then absolutely. So thank you for asking that, because that's exactly what I want to do.
I think money notwithstanding, although money would be nice, there's a certain emotional satisfaction and gratification to see your art, come alive, and then it also presents a platform where people are going, well, who is this guy? And it open some doors, career-wise down the line there. Although in Colorado Springs, I still exist in relative anonymity, and I'm enjoying it immensely. No one has any idea what I do; they don't care, and it just hey, let's get some pizza, and I'm good with that.
I want to mention, Afua, you did a great series with Mark Bernard for Top Cow. Romulus, am I right? Genius, pardon me. And yeah, so that's also, if you want to get beyond Afua's great covers and stuff, there's some great interiors there as well. I'm checking. We got time for one more question, if possible. And if not, let's see. Sir? Miss? Excuse me? I thought the gentleman was actually raising his hand. Pardon me, miss.
It's not really a question. It's more, I wanted to thank you, Afua, for being a player on the stage. I've been a comic fan since 1972. And you can't even, I'm raising my daughter to be a comic fan. And we're coming to cons and there are women on the stage.
Damn straight. Absolutely. It's getting better slowly. But it is getting, and honestly, it's gratifying that it is getting better. And truly, it's great to see a wonderful character finally getting his due, and in the hands of such wonderful creators as have been displayed for our panel today. Continued success to all of you. I know that Christopher's doing an amazing run on Deathstroke. It should be better than critically acclaimed, so support it. Don, absolutely. Don, what do you got going right now, Don?
Well, they're doing the biggest Marvel masterworks they've ever done with Killraven coming out in September.
Outstanding.
Right now, DC is going to redo all of the Gene Colan's pencils for Nathaniel Dusk, and we're coming out with an ultimate hardcover edition of that. Hopefully, Alexander Riska's on the horizon, and I would love it if Mike Mayhew or Dwayne Turner were a part of it. I hope Trevor Von Eaton can do Young Saber. And then we're also coming out, but the one that really excites me is that we're going to be doing Ragamuffins. Dean Mulaney's going to, he's the first book to print pencils and color together, and has just lovely, gorgeous Gene Colan artwork. And 20 pages of Gene Colan art had been lost for over 3 decades. We now have access to it, and it's a story called The Pack Rat Instinct. And for all of you out there who love comics and who love to collect, as Dean told me when he read the original script, there won't be a dry eye in the house when the story ends, Don. I thank you all, by the way, who come to me at the table and and tell me what those stories meant to you, or where you were when a particular character, somebody named their son after Nathaniel Dusk. I had a lesbian write and tell me that she decided not to commit suicide after reading Detectives Incorporated. Wow. I had a guy who worked in the terminally ill ward. I can't do that, but the Saber gave him the ability to be able to go back and deal with that. I said, I can't do what you do. But if what I do helps you do that, then that's really what that's about. Thank you all.
Excellent. Go to their tables, find out what they're all doing now. They're all in artist gallery. And thank you for your attention today. Or you want to do it, Bob?
I just want to say that I would have been the one asking what you're doing now.
Yeah, please.
I don't have anything to plug because it's outside of commissions and one-shot pieces. Not much. When you mentioned the question, well, how's Marvel, how they've been showing rewarding you for all this stuff, and I know Priest said, yeah, Bob, you would be working on all that. It's like, Sal and I got a variant cover approved for World of Wakanda that you worked on.
Wow.
But that's it. Oh, and no matter how many times we tried to remind the editors, wouldn't it be nice to have, because I know you guys did the Black Panther annual, where they brought in, all that. Nobody contacted us to do any art.
I fought for you.
I know. You mentioned the whole Deathstroke thing.
Yeah.
So,
no, I mean, for the Panther thing.
Oh. So if anybody wants to be vocal about that, by all means, Sal and I would love to do more Panther, even if it is a one-genre film.
Hey, their classic work is available.
Shirley has her own series coming out.
There you go.
I love that. But I'm actually working on a graphic novel, Run, which is the sequel to March, the John Lewis story about civil rights and
Excellent. I hope to have them all on future Word Balloon podcasts. So I'll be putting out my cards, and hopefully we'll get more conversation digitally. But thank you again for your attention, and really, a round of applause for all the
letting us include Justice in the next film, because that means we're getting on the film. That was the only character we co-created with him.
Please don't
That's
hurt.
awesome.
There you go, the Black Panther panel. What an exciting panel it was to be a part of. And I got to tell you, I'm very excited to have made these connections with all 4 of the contributors to the panel. I have a feeling you'll be hearing them on Word Balloon in the months ahead, because it's going to be great to sit down and have a real conversation with Christopher Priest. The same goes with Don McGregor. Bob Almond apparently is the keeper of all the knowledge, and I would love to talk to him more about his collaborations with Sal Velluto, not only on Black Panther, but Justice League Task Force and some of the other great things that they've worked on over the years. I got an incredible Black Panther sketch from Bob that I am so excited about. It was my best purchase at Terrificon, and it'll be great to talk to him. It'll be great to talk to Afua Richardson as well, because she's got some neat projects on the way, and couldn't have been sweeter. We spent a lot of time from the airport to the convention, as well as our time on the panel, and she and her husband were terrific, and very excited to be talking to her as well in the future. So expect all 4 of these panels to be on future Word Balloons. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Again, it was brought to you by Aftershock Comics. Great comic books. You know the names of a lot of their creators, people like Brian Azzarello and Marguerite Bennett, our buddy Colin Bunn. Phil Hester has a new book there. Tim Seeley has a book there. So many neat books, including brand new books as well. Hot Lunch Special by Elliot Royale and George Fornes. Beyonders by Paul Jenkins and Wesley St. Clair. And Moth and Whisper from Ted Anderson and Jen Hickman. So check out full story descriptions, preview pages, and how to get these stories either digitally or the diamond codes to order them through your local shop at AftershockComics.com. Word Balloon also brought to you by the League of Word Balloon listeners. Thank you very much, League, for your support. If you'd like to subscribe to Word Balloon, if you like what you hear here at wordballoon.com and want to help the product out, you can do that by subscribing via Patreon at patreon.com/wordballoon, or you can go to the Patreon ad at wordballoon.com. Thanks again for listening. Great stuff coming up this weekend throughout the month of September. New York Comic-Con is just around the corner. I will be there. I hope to see you there, and very excited about it. I'm not doing any panels, just running around networking, shaking hands, running for mayor, as I always like to say at conventions. That's what I feel like I'm doing. But it's always great to meet not only the listeners, but also new creators, and hopefully make those connections for new conversations here at Word Balloon. Talk to you in a few days with a brand new Word Balloon. Until then, Word Balloon is a copyright feature of Shaky Productions, copyright 2018.